Agape. Agape, the love of the heart, the most beautiful love there is, the awareness and acceptance of our wholeness. We're seeking love all the time, aren't we? We're seeking it because we desire to become aware that we're whole, we're perfect, we're unique. This is the quest, and we think it comes from outside. We get it from our partner, our mom and dad, our friends and family, when in truth, the only way we know love is within ourselves. That's what we do at Agape. We teach a positive, practical spirituality centered in the practices of meditation, using the power of our minds, and all about learning how to better self-love through conscious living. I'm grateful you joined me today. So before we get into today's message, which I think will be a pretty good one, let's do a quick little meditation. Let's get ourselves centered. So if you would, bring yourself to a comfortable seated upright position. Your back straight, hands gently resting on your lap, eyes closed. All awareness on your breath. Take a long, slow, deep inhale. Now a long, slow, deep exhale. Take another. And now exhale. And one more. Inhale. Now exhale. Now scan your body from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. And just notice whatever sensations you might be feeling. If there's any area that feels a bit of stress or tension or pain, take a conscious breath into that area, breathing in life and love. And now breathe out. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Know that the breath is always in balance. There's always an inhale followed by an exhale. Notice that the breath and the body are in balance. The type of breath you breathe determines the energy within your body. Slow, long, deep breaths will bring a calm and peaceful body. Fast and quick breaths will bring a body that's in a state of not relaxation, but a state of rapid movement. A calm breath reduces stress. A fast breath brings stress. There's always balance. So where do you seek balance in your life? Is it in your relationships? Balancing your career versus your home life? Balancing your money between your desire to have pleasure? There's so many infinite ways that we can go out of balance. Are you in balance with yourself? Do you like yourself? Do you accept yourself? Do you see yourself as whole, perfect, and in balance? Everything begins and ends with you. When you bring balance into your inner life, your outer life demonstrates it. Everything always starts with the breath. So I invite you now to gently come back into your body, to this time, to this place. And when you're ready, open your eyes and welcome this beautiful new day. Are you committed? So today, if you can't guess already, my topic is how to live a balanced life. For me, I find that balance is the most important thing, and that I seem to be always out of balance for the most part. You see, a sense of well-being will not be experienced until we learn to live a balanced life between our spirit, our mind, and our body. And isn't that what we want most in our life? A sense of well-being? I used to think it was happiness, and then I realized that that's not balance. If there's happiness, there's got to be sadness. There has to be two sides of the coin. But a sense of well-being means the understanding that there is both, and that you embrace both, and you're able to move on, and you're not stuck wanting one or fearing the other. And so it's a beautiful thing, this sense of well-being. You see, a lot of times people get confused as to what balance means. Balance is not about giving equal time to each part of our lives, but rather giving each aspect of our lives the attention it needs to thrive and harmonize with all the other aspects of our lives. So you can see there are times when maybe our career demands that we give it more time. But then we've got to find the time to balance our relationships. It all depends on where we are. There are times when I was a father that my kids needed more of my time. Now that's not true. There are times when my career needed more time, and my partner may have needed more time, or my health may have needed more time, or my money situation needed more time, or my spirituality needed more time. It all depends on where you are in your life and what you can do to bring harmony. One of the things that I have learned is that one of the things that brings me the greatest harmony is a state of meditation. That's something that is always in my day, and it always helps bring me back to balance. And so balance is like a symphony orchestra. Each instrument doesn't play all the time, but when it does, it contributes to the overall beautiful harmonic musical masterpiece. And so you'll notice there are times when there's drums or a flute or a violin, a piano, an oboe, a tuba, a guitar, but they don't play all the time. But when they're brought together with that perfect amount of time for each one in a perfect rhythm, man, the music that they make together is great. That's the same music that you could use and make your life. So let's talk about that. We're going to look at the three aspects. So let's start off with our first, and that's physical well-being. We have a body, and that body is the vessel that we get to use to go through life. And so if we don't have well-being in our body, it's not going to be a pleasant journey. So if we're going to balance our body, our physical well-being, then what are the areas we need to focus on? Well, the first one is nutrition, because what we take in is the fuel that feeds our body. It's not only the food, it's also the drink. And so I'm not here to tell you what to drink. I'm not here to tell you what food, but you can figure that out for yourself. Over my years, I found that being a vegetarian is best for me. Drinking water is best for me. I stay away from processed foods. I stay away from most sugar. I stay away from non-organic flour because it has an impact on me. I stay away from alcohol. It just doesn't work with me. And so what I do is I balance my nutrition, and I listen to my body, and my body gives me that sense of well-being when I'm eating and drinking in a certain way. Next, for physical well-being, it's exercise. We've got a body. Why? To move. But so often we're just sitting at a desk or sitting in front of a computer, lying on the couch. We're not moving. Well, our body is meant to move. And if we don't move, the body's not going to give us a sense of well-being. You won't be able to do everything you want to do. I know that one of the greatest motivators that my wife had about bringing her body back into shape was having a granddaughter, because she wanted to be able to pick that little girl up, wanted to be able to play with that little girl. Can't do it if your body's out of whack. You know what I'm saying? The third thing is rest. This body temple is a gift, but every once in a while, like an electric car, you got to plug it in and let the juice recharge that battery, and that's what sleep does. Sleep is one of the most important things that we do to rest that body and let it heal itself. I know for me, I need between 7 and 7.5 hours of sleep. That's just the way I am. I know that because I've tested. I've tried going on a lot less. I've tried going on more. I also found what time of day was best for me. So for me, sleeping between 8:30, going to bed at 9, and then getting up at between 4:30 and 5. That works for me. That works with my biorhythms. I'm not saying it's right for you. See, I don't know what's right for your physical well-being. That's something you have to determine. So let's go into this idea of the emotional, the mind, the emotional well-being. And so when we're looking at that, the first thing we want to continue is that the mind does what? The mind loves to learn. So continuous learning is something that feeds that mental well-being. It just nourishes you. Here I am. I'm in my golden years, they say. That's why I've got a gold shirt on today. But I'm in my golden years, and Monday I'm starting a whole new program. I'm going to be in class for, God knows, at least 160 hours. I'm going to learn how to be a hypnotherapist. I believe that hypnotism, I can help people by implanting whatever they want in their subconscious mind, get it in quicker and deeper. I'm always studying about techniques of meditation, how to use the power of the mind. Learning is one of the things that just excites me. Now, I may not want to learn certain areas because I've chosen to be, in the spiritual human behavioral realm. So continuous learning, man, that gives me a sense of mental juice, and I feel great when I'm doing it. Also, we've got mental health care. You got to take care of yourself mentally and emotionally. Sometimes it may require seeing a professional, maybe a spiritual counselor or a psychological counselor. Maybe mental health care is taking a long walk by yourself. Could be anything. But for your emotional and mental well-being, you've got to take care of yourself. Next, there's also meditation and mindfulness. Now, I know you think meditation should be under the spiritual realm, and it can be, very much so. But think about it. What does meditation do? It brings you into a state of relaxation, a state of inner peace. It allows you to slow down that crazy mind, and that'll slow down those crazy emotions, and you'll have a better sense of well-being, won't you? And then on top of it, there's mindfulness. Mindfulness is being fully present when you do something. Not just doing it for the sake of doing it, but mindfully eating, mindfully having a conversation with your partner, mindfully playing with your grandchildren, mindfully whatever it is you're doing. Being in Disney World, when we were there back in April or whenever that was, we were mindful of every moment, enjoying every ride, every bite of food, everything we did. It made the journey so much greater. And what a sense of well-being that we created with that. And then for mental and emotional well-being, what about relationships with self and with others? It all starts with you, doesn't it? Do you have a sense of well-being? Do you like yourself? Do you accept yourself? Do you have a high sense of self-worth? You want to know the answer to whether or not you do? Look at your life. Your life will mirror back to you. It'll tell you what you believe about you. And realize this, what you believe about you with sense of your relationship will be mirrored back to you in your relationship with others. If your relationship with your partner, your friends is great, you probably got a good relationship with yourself because they go hand in hand. I know it's never my wife's problem when I'm feeling a bit blue or whatever. It's my problem. It's my energy. And I take that responsibility because it's better for my well-being if I don't play the role of a victor or a victim. Let me correct that. When I'm a victim, that means I don't believe in Lee Wallach. I don't believe that there's a power within me that can change my life. But I do believe in Lee, and I believe I was created this way, as are you. So now let's go to spiritual well-being. The first thing from a sense of spiritual well-being, got to know who you are and why you're here. What is your life purpose? It could be so many different things. And not only does life purpose fit under spiritual well-being, it can fit under mental and emotional well-being. And it'll definitely have an impact on the physical well-being as well. My number one purpose in life is to become more aware. My second purpose is to teach. My third purpose is to connect with others and study of human behavior and build intimate relationships. When I do that, I have a sense of well-being, a sense of a deep connection to life that's beyond the physical, beyond the mental, beyond the emotional. It's at the soul level. After the life purpose, I think the next thing is connection. Connection to yourself, connection to others, and connection to something greater than you. This is something I truly get now. I was born and raised a Catholic. I went through my stage of being an atheist, and now I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I realize that I'm simply a point of awareness, a point of consciousness within infinite consciousness. And I've been given the freedom to use that consciousness to create. So when I meditate, I connect with the allness. I quiet my mind. I quiet my body. It's also the connection you have with your partner. I don't know about you, but when you have a partner that you're truly connected to, let me tell you, you can go to a restaurant, you'll order and you'll sit there and you'll just be happy. You don't have to carry on meaningless conversations because you have a connection. It's a wonderful thing. And you know that you've got great connections because your energy radiates out. And what radiates out draws back to you. So you'll always know how connected you are to a higher life. The next aspect of spiritual well-being is your spiritual practice. This is one thing that I don't sacrifice. I meditate twice a day. I do spiritual mind treatment. I do spiritual study. I can add on to that, but those are the basics. I do not sacrifice them, whether I'm on vacation, whether I'm sick, no matter what, because they ground me. From that sense of well-being, of doing my spiritual practices, it affects my mental, it affects my emotional, and it affects my physical. So I will not sacrifice that. So what steps can we take to integrate spirit, mind, and body? Here's my favorite, a daily routine. That's right. With technology today, you got a calendar. What's on your calendar? Is meditation on your calendar? Is exercise on your calendar? Is time with your partner or children on your calendar? It's on mine. I put the things that are most important on my calendar when I'm best able to do them. And for the most part, I stick to it. People say, well, Lee, you're really disciplined. I am. But I realize that it's my discipline that creates my life. And why would I turn that power over to something other than me? I'm not going to do that. I've learned my lesson. The next step is mindful presence. Being mindful of every moment of every day. Be mindful when there's a thunder shower that beautiful rain is coming down and it's nurturing the plants, the trees, it's washing away the grime. Be mindful that when the sun is shining, trees are growing, it's feeding. Be mindful that when you're putting food in your mouth, how it's nourishing and feeding and helping you rebuild your body. Be mindful that other people are living their own unique life and you may never understand what their life is because you've never lived in their shoes. And that takes me to the third practice, empathic understanding. Fully understanding that for me, at 60,000 thoughts a day, I've had about 1.5 billion thoughts. No one on the planet has ever had the same billion thoughts. No one on the planet ever will. So no one on the planet will ever understand me. And I will never understand another completely. So empathic understanding is when someone's close to you, ask, what are you feeling? What are you going through? Is there anything I can support you? It's also knowing that you may never know what's good for someone if they don't tell you. And because you won't know that, it's okay. You don't have to force it. You're not responsible for anyone else. You're responsible for yourself. And that's just a simple thing. Another thing to integrate is you set boundaries. You set boundaries of how much time you put on things, who you give time to, when you give them time or it time. Here's one of the boundaries you should set right now: social media. Because if you don't set a boundary on social media, that they know how to hook you. I don't know who they is, but those people who are pushing social media, they know that those likes, those dings, all of those affirmations, they hook you. And you'll be on that thing for hours and hours. But is it having a one-on-one connection with another human being? Is it really living to your fullest potential? Or are you living in a made-up fantasy world? I don't know. You have to decide for yourself. The other thing about integrating spirit, mind, and body, there's always going to be periodic reflection and adjustment. At the end of each day, I look at what happened. And did something go different than I had thought? And if so, is there adjustment I can make? I look at what's most important to me twice a year to see if my most high values have changed or not. Because I know if things do happen and things change and I might not be aware of it. But if I'm aware of it, then I can move in the direction that I think, or make sure it is in the direction of what I want. You see, living in balance is a continuous, dynamic, and ever-changing journey. To think you're ever going to get into balance, you're crazy. Be a homeowner. Every time I just completed painting my great room downstairs in the closet. It's magnificent by my standards. I did a great job. You know what? I finished it. Guess what? The cold plunge broke. Guess what? Something else happened. Then something else. Here's the thing that I understand. The to-do list, it doesn't get smaller. It just changes. So don't think you're going to get to the end of the to-do list. If you do, it's when you die and it's on your last breath. So realize life is a journey. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but balance. And know that balance and a sense of fulfillment are unique to everyone. I promise, if you start to balance your life, you will feel a sense of fulfillment, and that's the best it's going to get. And you will not regret the life that you've created for yourself. I want to thank you for taking the time to join me today. If you liked this message and you felt it was worthy and worthwhile, make a donation to Agape so we can get this message out to greater and greater and greater numbers of people. I would love for us to have a little bit extra money so that we can hire someone that knows how to really market on YouTube, market on podcasts, and really get this message out, because we've got the message. I know it. I get the feedback all the time, and I'd love for you to help. If you'd like to plug in more with Agape, go to agapespiritualcenter.com, sign up for the weekly newsletter and my daily thoughts. Also look at the calendar and see all the great things that we offer, most of them on Zoom. some in person, but most on Zoom, for we're a worldwide community with a strong North Texas presence. With that, my friends, thank you for taking the time to be with me today. Know that you are loved just like you are.